continue with the meditation series. I honestly think now that I need 4 episodes to fit this in. So this is number 3 or 4. And today I'm going to talk about what it actually is. Like, how do you do it? How do you meditate? So yesterday we spoke about why it's important to me and why I decided to start. But as well as my kind of 2 very personal reasons for wanting to start, obviously, or hopefully, you'll be aware that there are a vast number of benefits to meditating. I mean, the list really is endless, but just to grab a few out, reduced blood pressure, help with weight loss, help with confidence, help with anxiety, help with stress, help with focus. These benefits are just, by and large, they're all good. And I feel as though if your only reason for not wandering down this road is the stigma that you believe to be attached to, I'm a meditator, you're barking up the wrong tree. You've got to look into this. You've got to give it a go. It's going to help you so much. So how do you do it? What is it? So meditation is very, very simply the art of moving your thoughts away from what tends to be on autopilot all day, every day. So without even trying to control it, yours and mine and everybody else's mind will be jumping from one thing to another quite recklessly and rapidly all day. And that doesn't have to be anything productive. It can be, I loved what I ate last night and I wonder what I'm going to eat tonight, and I need to do my invoices, or I need to chase that invoice because that person hasn't paid me, or what colour trainers should I wear when I go out tomorrow, and I wonder if I need to wear a suit, tie and blazer for that do I'm going to, and yeah. Nobody's mind is crazier than mine, by the way. It is a scary, scary place up here. And meditation is the art of temporarily shutting that down and moving your focus away from all of that madness to one thing, and that is your breathing. Now, the breathing acts as something to focus on, if that makes sense. You can't just shut all that stuff down if you're not diverting your attention towards something else. And breathing allows you to focus elsewhere, okay? Now, here's the thing. It's much harder than it sounds. Like, I challenge you to sit, close your eyes, get comfortable, and focus only on your breathing. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And I challenge you to try and get to 10 without your mind going zing and shooting off and starting to think about some, non-important subject that just crops up. It's gonna happen. It's so much more difficult than you'd think, okay? But this is the key point of today's episode. When those thoughts creep into your head, and when you forget to just be thinking about your breath on inhale 3 of 10, don't beat yourself up. This is where a lot of people think that they're not very good at meditating in the early days, so they knock it on the head. They think that they are no good at being mindful. They're no good at focusing on only their breath. They think that their mind is in some way unique and they're just never going to be able to do it. But you've got to get over that. It's going to happen. And instead of beating yourself up about it, you've got to smile at it. You've almost got to laugh about it. You've got to accept how unique and weird you are. And when you get over that reservation that, oh, I'm no good at meditating because I can't focus, you start to enjoy that journey. You start to enjoy the fact that yesterday you only got to 3 and today you got to 4.5. And when those thoughts come into your head and distract you from what you're trying to do, which is focus solely on your breath, you've just got to acknowledge them, accept them, kind of smile at them in a weird kind of hippie way. And then just go back to your breathing. And in the early days, there's a lot of that. I mean, I've been doing this for nearly a year now, and there's still a ton of that. It's still happening every time I meditate. I'm not even entirely sure I've ever got to 10. I think I've lied to myself a couple of times and decided to just ignore the fact that my mind shot off and started thinking about, some random thing. But that is all part of it, okay? And when you close your eyes and you start to breathe and you divert your attention away from all this stuff that leaves a fog in our minds, what you're essentially doing is giving your brain a rest, okay? And giving your brain a rest is a really, really fantastic thing to do. And when you give your brain a rest and when you go to do your meditation, you'll find that it becomes a bit of a happy place. You'll find that it becomes a bit of an escape. And that's when it starts to become addictive. That's when it starts to become a bit of a routine. That's when you start to really want to do it rather than just trying to get good at doing it. And that's really today's episode. It's all about what meditation is, which is focusing solely on your breathing. And recognizing that in the early days and probably in the latter days, if you are judging yourself on how good you are at focusing only on your breath, you are going to be disappointed in how terrible you think you are at meditating. But that is part of it, okay? I really, really hope you got something out of today's episode. Tomorrow I'm going to round this off just with a few hints, tips, silly little methods that I've found incredibly helpful. And I really hope 1 or 2 of you give this a go and become Buddhist, Jedi, Zen masters one day. I'll come and visit you in your temple. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow.